Isaac had a bracelet wrapped around his arm. The next second, something weird happened. The bracelet slowly separated his arm from the rest of his body. The craziest part? He didn't feel any pain at all. Then they inserted a capsule inside his arm, and the wound healed on its own. When Isaac woke up, he was drenched in cold sweat. He thought it was just a dream. But the pain in his arm felt way too real. Trying to calm himself down, he reached for the TV. But suddenly, the TV vanished. Completely freaked out, Isaac stretched out his hand and started feeling around. His fingers bumped into something invisible, cold, and strange. The moment he touched it, the TV popped right back into view. At that point, Isaac started thinking he might be losing his mind. Wanting answers, he went to the hospital. The doctor told him the bone in his arm was broken. But the cut was unbelievably clean, like it had been made by a machine. The weirdest thing was that there wasn't a single wound on his skin. Isaac was a computer engineer who used to send signals into space as part of an experiment with his friend. After a while, he actually got data back. He also had a habit of vlogging his everyday life, recording pretty much everything on camera. One day while hiking, he spotted something unbelievable. A mysterious object was descending from the sky. And it wasn't just him seeing it. Other people nearby could see it too. By the time the police arrived, Isaac had already made it to the scene. Right in front of him was a UFO. An alien spaceship. Excited and nervous, Isaac immediately started filming. But before he could fully process what was happening, the spaceship suddenly disappeared. Then an alien appeared behind him. Shocked and terrified, Isaac somehow turned the camera toward it and kept recording. But the alien completely ignored him and walked away. Sensing danger, Isaac carefully started backing off. Suddenly, a bright blue flash lit up everything. Then, darkness. Isaac instantly passed out. Later, back at his office, he showed the footage to one of his co-workers. The video clearly suggested that he'd been abducted by aliens. But his friend didn't buy it for a second. Determined to prove he was telling the truth, Isaac went home and uploaded the footage to YouTube with the title Abduction, claiming he'd been kidnapped by aliens. The video blew up almost overnight. The very next day, news channels started calling him for interviews. During one interview, a reporter hit him with a tough question. "How did you just happen to have your camera ready at the perfect moment?" Isaac froze. He couldn't come up with a convincing answer. The reporter ended the interview by calling the whole story fake. Soon, news outlets everywhere started saying Isaac had made everything up just to get famous. Frustrated and desperate, Isaac began searching online for other people who claimed they'd been abducted by aliens. That's when he found a comment from a girl describing experiences almost identical to his own. Curious, he reached out and arranged to meet her. When he arrived at the hotel, the girl introduced herself as Sarah. Isaac showed her his footage and some old UFO photos he'd collected. Sarah then told him about a man named Carl who had allegedly been abducted by aliens in Alaska back in 1989. According to Sarah, Carl had even passed a lie detector test. But not long afterward, he mysteriously vanished. Before leaving, Isaac gave Sarah his number and asked her to contact him if she found out anything else. The next day, Isaac headed out to share his video with people who had written about alien abductions. Along the way, he met a writer who offered to tell his story. The writer said that if Isaac passed a lie detector test, people would finally believe him. Isaac took the test. And passed. The writer told him he'd be back later and then left. But shortly after that, 2 government agents showed up and grabbed Isaac. They were part of a secret operation that targeted anyone claiming to have seen UFOs or aliens. When Isaac finally woke up, he found himself locked inside a room. Surrounded by androids. The androids were standing guard. Sarah had also been captured and was being held in a separate room. In front of Isaac was a screen where an officer ordered him to cooperate and examine the objects placed in the room so they could assess his abilities. The officer showed him a picture of Carl and asked what he knew about him. Isaac said he knew nothing. Suddenly, Isaac felt something strange. The moment he stretched out his hand, the screen in front of him crashed to the floor. That's when he realized something inside him had changed. He set out to find Sarah, but the androids blocked his path. Fueled by this sudden new power, Isaac destroyed them and grabbed their weapons. Moving forward, he finally found Sarah, freed her, and together they tried to escape. But every door in the facility had been locked. That's when it became clear that Isaac had developed some kind of special ability. Using that power, he forced a door open and escaped with Sarah. He even managed to seal the door behind them. Meanwhile, the officer informed his team that Isaac and Sarah were heading toward Carl. Wanting answers, he sent more androids after them. After escaping, Isaac and Sarah arrived at a small village. They took shelter in a tiny restaurant. Isaac told Sarah that if he could get internet access, he might be able to trace Carl's location. He asked a local girl if she knew anyone with a computer or internet connection. The girl pointed them toward a hacker. Hopeful, they went to meet him. But before they could settle in, the androids tracked them down again, forcing them to run once more. The hacker then revealed a shocking truth. The people chasing them were connected to a secret organization operating within the United Nations, monitoring everything from underground facilities. He claimed he knew this because he had once hacked into their system. Isaac immediately asked him to find Carl's location. Using his laptop and internet connection, the hacker successfully traced Carl to a hidden location in Canada. Without wasting a second, he started a video call. When Carl appeared on screen, Isaac told him everything. From sending signals into space to receiving the mysterious response. Even now, Isaac wasn't completely convinced. Part of him still thought it could all be some kind of glitch. But Carl took it very seriously. He asked for the original satellite signal data. Isaac told the hacker to download it directly from NASA's servers. Surprisingly, the hacker pulled it off with ease. They sent the data to Carl, who used a specialized device to convert the signals into an audio file. After analyzing it, Carl made a terrifying discovery. The signals weren't random. They had been sent by aliens. And according to the decoded message, the aliens were coming to Earth in just 5 days. Exactly at 4 p.m. Carl immediately warned Isaac to go into hiding. He told him to shut down or destroy every electronic device he had because the secret agency could track them through those devices. After delivering the warning, Carl ended the call. Realizing how serious the situation had become, Isaac decided they needed to find Carl in person. With only 5 days left before the aliens arrived, Isaac, Sarah, and the hacker headed for Canada. At the same time, the officer tracking them also discovered their destination. After traveling all night, they finally arrived in Canada the next day. While searching for Carl, they boarded a train. But the androids were still on their trail, moving alongside the railway tracks. The hacker quickly handed masks to Isaac and Sarah. He explained that the androids could identify them through facial recognition technology. Wearing the masks, they quietly sat among the passengers. Moments later, the androids entered the train and began scanning everyone on board. One of them became suspicious of Isaac and prepared to open fire. But at the very last second, they managed to escape. To survive, Isaac and Sarah took a dangerous risk. They climbed outside the moving train and hung upside down along its side to avoid being detected. Meanwhile, the hacker hid near one of the train doors. One android climbed onto the roof of the train and tried to chase Isaac. But it lost its balance and fell off. Another android came after them. This time, the hacker shoved it off the train, sending it crashing to the ground and finally giving them a chance to escape. Eventually, they finally make it to Carl's cabin. Watching them through security cameras, Carl carefully steps outside with a gun in his hands. After confirming who they are, he lets them inside and explains that a secret agency has been tracking them. Carl then straps some strange devices onto their arms and reveals a shocking truth. During their abductions, the aliens implanted trackers inside their arms. Those trackers are the reason the agency has been able to track them this whole time. The moment Carl disables the trackers, the officer suddenly loses their signal. As he leads them to a safer area, Carl explains that he has spent the last 20 years researching these events. He even built a device capable of turning any signal into audio. Carl reveals that he once sent a signal into space and actually received a response. But it was nowhere near as strong or as clear as the signal Isaac received. Soon, the moment they've all been waiting for arrives. Just minutes before the spaceship is expected to appear, strange and terrifying sounds begin echoing around Carl's cabin. Sensing that something isn't right, Isaac decides to investigate. He heads into the nearby woods, searching for the source of the noise. Suddenly, an alien appears. And starts following him. Terrified and helpless, Isaac yells, "What do you want from me?" And then everything goes black. A few moments later, Isaac finds himself back inside the cabin. But this time, the alien is there with them. Using his translation device, Carl makes it possible for everyone to understand the alien's language. the alien finally reveals its true purpose. They're not here to conquer Earth. They're here to study humanity. They want to understand how humans live, how they survive, and why Earth is so different from other planets. As the conversation continues, the alien shows them several visions and asks questions about human history. In one vision, they see Jesus Christ. Isaac explains who he is. The alien replies that they already know about him and consider him a unique and extremely important figure in the universe. Then comes the biggest revelation of all. The alien tells Isaac, "You are the answer to all of our questions." Meanwhile, Sarah complains about the pain she's been feeling in her arm ever since her abduction. The alien explains that both Isaac and Sarah were implanted with trackers. To prove it, the alien places a device on Sarah's arm. Her arm opens painlessly. The tracker is removed. And within seconds, everything heals perfectly. But just as the alien is about to remove Isaac's tracker, the officer and his team arrive outside the cabin. They threaten Carl, saying they'll kill him if he doesn't come out. Carl walks outside and confronts the officer. It's revealed that many years ago, the officer's father disappeared during a mysterious incident, and he believes Carl was responsible. Carl denies it. But the officer refuses to believe him. Without hesitation, he shoots Carl. Seeing this, Sarah runs outside, accidentally revealing their location. The officer immediately realizes Isaac is inside. He threatens to kill Sarah if Isaac doesn't surrender. Isaac hesitates. And the officer mercilessly shoots Sarah. At that exact moment, Isaac's tracker is finally removed. The alien tells him to use his telekinetic abilities. Overwhelmed by emotion and power, Isaac finally unleashes his full potential. His first move is saving the hacker by teleporting him away just seconds before a deadly laser attack strikes. Then Isaac steps outside. Using his powers, he makes the officer and his entire team disappear in an instant. The hacker watches in complete disbelief. He has absolutely no idea what he just witnessed. Meanwhile, the alien brings both Carl and Sarah back to life. Afterward, it takes them aboard its spaceship and transports them to a safe location. 6 months later. 6 months have passed. Isaac and Sarah are now living peacefully, and Isaac is continuing to train and master his telekinetic abilities. Carl and the hacker have joined forces and created their own secret organization, operating quietly behind the scenes. As for the officer, he was removed from his position after killing Carl and Sarah without evidence. And he still has no idea that both of them are alive. In the final moments, Carl reflects on everything that has happened. He expresses his gratitude and happiness, especially knowing that Sarah is safe. And for the first time in a very long time, everything is finally at peace.